Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, and I'm glad to see all of you here today. It's my favorite day of the week because we get to do art outside of the box. So I've got something I'm pretty excited about today. It's something I was not real familiar with, so in the process of getting this together for you, I've learned a lot. Have you ever heard of mandala art? I even had to learn how to pronounce it correctly. Well, it's pretty cool. It's an ancient form of art, and it's all based on a circle. If you were ever to travel to a Buddhist or a Tibetan temple on the other side of the world, you might see one in a window or in an ancient cave. They're all over the place, although they're not specific to any religion. The mandala symbol is supposedly representing the whole universe, so it's very neat. In modern day, people use it for relaxation and meditation, and it's very easy to paint, although it does take a little bit of patience, and we're going to do some today. So I'm going to show you these examples. Now don't get too excited because I don't think that we're going to be at this level yet. These are really detailed, but here are some examples of mandalas done on rocks, and you can see that there's hundreds of tiny dots on each of these, but we'll take it slow and learn as we go. So get ready, and I'll be right back after I have things set up for you. Okay, let's dig in here. You are not going to need too many things for this, but you will have to go out and find some rocks. I was lucky enough to be able to go to Arnett's, and they let me dig through their huge rock pile while I was kind of trying to keep my feet out of the mud. But I did find these. So keep in mind, these are probably about 2 inches. You want something at least that big, if not larger, and you want it to have a smooth, flat top. That makes it a lot easier to work with. So this isn't ideal, but it'll work. The other thing you can do, if you don't have any rocks handy, or if you don't feel like going out to search for them, is you can do it on a piece of paper. So I took my handy little cup here and I just traced a circle, and with my ruler I found the center of it and then did some lines radiating out, because when you're doing mandala art, everything is going to radiate out from the center. Okay, so paper or rock, whichever you choose. Now, you'll also need some weird things to paint with. So I took a pencil and I just kind of shaved off the eraser end of it so it was flat. It's kind of like you're going to be stamping. I have this screw, but this didn't work. It was a little too rounded, so we'll get rid of that. These nail heads worked very well for me. So if you have a variety of sizes of nails, that's a good thing to use. And the other thing I found was this little push pin, and that worked really nicely too for stamping on my rock. You'll need some paint, okay? So acrylic paint is best. You can use a craft paint that you can pick up at Walmart or Meijer, and you don't need a whole lot of it. It doesn't take much. Just, you know, my palette, you'll see right here, I probably have too much paint on there. I don't even think I'll be using all of that. But that's the next thing you want to do, is pick your color palette, okay? So I just chose a few colors that I liked, and we'll go with that. And if it doesn't seem like enough, or if I need something brighter, I can always add later on. But I'm going to start with these 4 colors. Now I'm going to show you my failures, all right? This is the first one that I did, and it's a little sad, I think, but I was practicing, I was learning what to use, but it didn't work out very well. It's okay. Here's the second one I did, and this one, I think it looks a little bit better. At least it's got a pattern to it, so, you know, I can live with that one. The third one I just had fun with. This is no pattern at all, but it wasn't the best rock. It was a little too small for what I was trying to do, but it kind of reminds me of a ladybug. All right, here's my masterpiece. This one, practice makes not quite perfect, but it sure does come a long way from #1 rock. So I'm just saying, this is going to take a little patience. It's going to take a little practice. but it's fun and it's something you should just relax with. All right. Okay, here's how I started out. I found my rock that had the flattest surface. I took this little Dixie cup and I traced a circle around the edge, so I had a starting point. Now what I'm going to do is kind of eyeball the center and take my pencil and put a dot here, and we're going to start working out from the center. All right, so here's my palette. I want to do my larger dots first, so I'm going to start with the black. So you kind of dab it in there, make sure you don't have too much paint on it. And you can test it on your paper if you want. And that's pretty good. Put a little bit more on there. And you just start stamping. So I stamp my center dot. Now they're not going to be absolutely perfect. They do make tools for this, but you can easily find things to use at home. Now I'm going to make dots all around the edge. And this is going to kind of form my base here for my design. So I try and space them as evenly apart as I can get it. Now your rock is not going to have an absolutely flat surface, so that's okay. There's a lot of imperfections in nature, but everything's beautiful just the same. Sometimes you need to get a little extra dab of paint on there. But I'll just go around. Those are pretty even. But it's fun and it's relaxing. Okay, so then you wipe this tool off so your paint doesn't dry up on there for the next color. Sometimes you gotta wait a second too for some of these things to dry. If it looks like some of them are a little shy of paint, you can always go back in, make it a little bigger. That's better. Okay, now I'm going to use a smaller tool, so I'll use my nail head, and I'm just going to do some lines coming out from the center. All right. So you can plan your design in advance if you want to. Or you can do like I'm doing right now, which is just sort of winging it. In modern day mandala painting, a lot of people will use these little rocks and things that they make for meditation and relaxation, which I thought was kind of cool. And it is very relaxing. I think these would be great gifts to people for a paperweight, something to put on their desk. And they also say that when you're doing mandala painting, every little dot you make is kind of a reflection of your inner self. So it's all based on the colors that you choose and the design that you choose. Now see, I'm going to have a little imperfection here, but that's quite all right. All right, so there's my first pass through. It's not looking too bad. You can see I got a little crowded up in here, but I think by the time I'm finished, it's going to be all right. So once again, I will wipe off my painting tool. And I'm going to use my push pin again. So I'll make sure that that's clean. And I'm going to use some of this bright green. This looks like fun. And I think it's a nice contrast to the violet. So I'm just going to do a few of these. Sort of put them maybe like on every third of my black marks here. We'd love to see your projects, so when you watch us, if you decide to do something that we've made here, go ahead and send us a note and post it on Facebook. Or if you have any ideas of things you might like to try, let me know too. I know there's tons of projects out there we could make. I'm thinking of doing some drawing exercises in a couple of weeks here, so hopefully you'll tune into that. Okay, I think I need a little bit of white. I'm gonna finish this up right now. And the white's gonna make things pop, and I'm going to put the white, I'm using this little nail head on this one. I'm gonna put it inside my black. And you gotta be a little careful. I don't think my paint's quite dry. I'd probably wait a little bit longer before I did this, but just for the sake of showing you, see now, that's not dry. It's hard to wait for paint to dry, isn't it? Here we go. And I'm almost done here. But it is very relaxing. I think you might enjoy doing this. That's not quite ready. And if you want to practice on paper, I think that's a good way to do it. See, this paint is just a little too wet for me. That's what happens when you try and rush, so take your time.
No problem.
Okay. All right, so that's as far as I'm gonna go with this, but I think you get the idea. I probably, to finish it off, will maybe come back in here with a couple of more white circles, and then I maybe would take a paintbrush and draw some lines out. But I think that's good for now. And what you can do too, when it's finished and your paint is all dry, you can take a spray, like a clear acrylic, and put that over your rock, and that will keep everything nice and shiny and keep your paint from chipping away. All right, that's our project for today. Thanks again, everyone. It's really fun being here with you. Just remember to keep being creative, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you next Thursday at 10 o'clock. Bye-bye.